What if I told you that Season 8 of Hudson Rex is not just a normal crime drama season, but a season filled with hidden details that most viewers completely missed? Tiny moments in conversations, background actions, and even character behavior that quietly reveal a much bigger story. Once you notice these clues, you will never look at Season 8 the same way again. Season 8 of Hudson Rex feels familiar on the surface, but if you look closer, you will notice something very important. The show has quietly shifted its direction. It is not just about solving crimes anymore, it is also about changing relationships, new dynamics, and hidden storytelling choices that many viewers did not fully catch. One of the biggest changes is the introduction and focus on Mark Hudson. At first, it may look like just another character addition, but his presence actually changes the entire balance of the show. The way other characters react to him feels different, almost like the writers are trying to rebuild the Hudson identity in a new direction. This is not random. It feels intentional, like a hidden setup for something bigger later in the story. Another subtle clue is how Rex behaves differently in Season 8. Longtime viewers will notice that Rex's reactions in certain scenes feel more observant, almost more emotionally tuned to the people around him. It is not just about solving cases anymore. His presence is used more like an emotional guide, quietly pointing out who to trust and who to doubt. This small change is easy to miss, but it completely changes how the story feels. Now, here is something most fans don't realize. The show also starts to reduce focus on old emotional anchors and slowly builds new connections. Conversations feel slightly different, and certain emotional moments are shorter than before. This creates a feeling that the show is slowly preparing viewers for a shift in its core relationships. It is not directly stated, but the change is clearly visible if you compare it with previous seasons. Another hidden detail is the way team chemistry is rebalanced. In earlier seasons, the dynamic between characters felt more stable and predictable. But in Season 8, there are small moments where trust, hesitation, and curiosity are shown in subtle ways. For example, a simple pause before reacting, or a short glance between characters, is used more often. These are not big dramatic moments, but they are important clues that show the writers are adding tension beneath the surface. What makes Season 8 even more interesting is how it quietly feels like a transition season. Nothing is openly announced, but everything feels slightly in progress. It is like the show is building a bridge between what Hudson and Rex used to be and what it is becoming next. By the end of this section, one thing becomes clear. Season 8 is not just continuing the story. It is reshaping it slowly, through small hidden details that only careful viewers will notice. In Season 8 of Hudson Rex, the real hidden magic is not always in the main story. It is in the small details that appear for just a few seconds, but carry a deeper meaning if you connect them carefully. These clues are not loud, they are quiet. And that is exactly why most viewers miss them completely. One of the strongest examples comes from the episode Runaway Witness. On the surface, it is about a child who becomes a key witness in a dangerous case. But if you slow down and observe the scenes carefully, the child's drawings are not just random sketches. They are structured in a way that slowly reveals pieces of the investigation. The placement of objects, the direction of movement, and even the order of drawings give subtle hints about what actually happened. It is almost like the child is unknowingly acting as a second investigator in the story. The hidden clue here is that the writers are using innocence as a tool for truth. Instead of detectives explaining everything, the truth is slowly hidden inside simple visuals that most viewers ignore because they look like background props. Another important hidden detail appears in conspiracy theory. This episode looks like a standard investigation into unusual beliefs and suspicious thinking, but the deeper layer is far more interesting. The PTSD veteran character is not just part of the case. His behavior is used as a reflection of how trauma can distort reality. If you pay attention to his conversations, you will notice that certain words and phrases are repeated in slightly different emotional tones. This repetition is not accidental. It is a clue that the writers are showing how the mind builds patterns even when reality is unclear. The hidden detail here is that Rex's reactions in these scenes are carefully placed to contrast human confusion with animal instinct. Rex often responds calmly in moments where humans are uncertain, which quietly reinforces the idea that instinct sometimes sees the truth faster than logic. Now let's move to another subtle but very clever detail across multiple episodes. Season 8 often uses background objects as silent storytellers. For example, in several scenes, notice how files, boards, and screens in the background are not static. They contain partial information that is never fully explained in dialogue. A name might appear briefly on a board, or a photo might be partially visible in the corner of the screen. These are not mistakes. They are intentional Easter eggs placed for viewers who pay attention to every frame. The hidden clue here is that the writers are building a wider universe of cases that exist beyond the main storyline. Even if a case is not fully explored in an episode, its existence is still hinted at visually. Another interesting layer appears in how time is shown in investigations. In several episodes, the pacing of scenes intentionally skips small logical steps. Instead of showing every detail, the show jumps between discovery moments. This creates a feeling of fast progress, but also hides important transitions. If you rewatch carefully, you will notice that certain conclusions are accepted by the team slightly too quickly. This is not a writing flaw. It is a storytelling choice. The hidden clue is that the audience is being guided to focus on results, not the process. This is important because it mirrors how Rex operates. Rex does not analyze like humans. He reacts, observes, and responds instantly. So the editing style quietly aligns the viewer with Rex's way of thinking. One of the most overlooked Easter eggs in Season 8 is the use of silent reactions between characters. In many scenes, before any major discovery or twist, there is a very short moment where characters look at each other without speaking. These pauses are often less than a second, so most viewers do not notice them consciously. But these micro-moments are actually emotional clues. They show uncertainty, doubt, or realization before it is spoken out loud. For example, when a new piece of evidence appears, one character might hesitate for just a moment before reacting. That hesitation is a clue that they already suspected something earlier, even if they did not say it. This adds a hidden layer of tension that runs underneath the entire episode. Another deeper detail is how sound design is used as a clue system. In certain episodes, background sounds subtly change before important revelations. A door closing, a distant siren, or even Rex's movement sounds are slightly emphasized right before a discovery. These are not random audio effects. They are emotional signals placed to guide viewer attention without obvious visual cues. The hidden meaning is that the show is training viewers to feel when something important is about to happen, even before it is shown. Now let's talk about character placement in scenes. In Season 8, where a character stands in a room often carries meaning. For example, characters who are uncertain or hiding something are often placed slightly away from the center of the frame. Meanwhile, confident or truth-revealing characters are placed closer to the visual focus. This is a subtle cinematography trick, but it becomes a pattern once you notice it. The hidden clue here is that the visual composition itself is telling part of the story without dialogue. Another smart detail appears in how Rex is used as a visual connector between scenes. Instead of only being part of action sequences, Rex often appears at the transition points between discoveries. He might enter a room just before something important is found, or react slightly before a human character notices something. This creates a hidden narrative role for Rex as a bridge between clues. He is not just part of the team, he is positioned as the link that connects scattered pieces of evidence into one direction. If we connect all these small details together, a bigger picture starts to form. Season 8 is not just about solving crimes in a linear way. It is built like a layered puzzle where visuals, sound, behavior, and timing all carry hidden meaning. The real clue is not in one episode alone. It is in how all episodes quietly follow the same pattern of subtle storytelling. By the time you notice these hidden layers, you realize something important. The show is not only telling you a story, it is also training you to observe like a detective yourself. One of the biggest hidden details is the way Rex reacts to emotional tension in different scenes. Rex is not just solving cases anymore. He is reacting to people's inner emotions. In several moments, when tension rises between characters, Rex's behavior changes slightly before anything is said. He might stop moving, shift his focus, or position himself between two characters. This is not just training behavior. It is a storytelling tool. The hidden clue here is that Rex is being used as a silent, emotional detector. He often reacts to truth and stress before humans even speak. This makes him a bridge between hidden emotions and visible action. Another important character layer is the subtle reference to Charlie Hudson's absence. Even when Charlie is not directly mentioned, his presence is still felt through dialogue patterns and emotional reactions. Certain conversations feel like they are intentionally designed to remind viewers of past partnerships. The way new interactions are framed almost mirrors old dynamics, especially in teamwork situations. The hidden clue here is that the writers are not erasing the past. They are quietly echoing it through new relationships. This creates a feeling that Charlie's influence still exists in the structure of the team, even if he is not physically present. Now, let's talk about Mark Hudson's deeper role in character dynamics. On the surface, he appears as a normal addition to the team structure, but if you carefully observe how other characters respond to him, you will notice something subtle. There is a constant adjustment happening in conversations. People do not interact with him in the same relaxed way they interact with long-established characters. Instead, there is a slight caution in tone, a slower trust-building process. The hidden clue here is that Mark is not just a new character. He is a disruption in the existing emotional balance of the team. The writers are slowly testing how new leadership or influence changes group chemistry. Another powerful hidden detail appears in Sarah's character development moments. Throughout Season 8, Sarah's reactions are more controlled, but in specific scenes, you can catch small emotional slips. These moments are extremely brief, like a quick pause before speaking or a subtle shift in facial expression. These tiny reactions often appear right after major discoveries and cases. The hidden meaning is that Sarah is carrying more emotional weight than she openly expresses. Instead of showing full emotional breakdowns, the show hides her stress in micro-reactions, which makes her character more realistic, but also harder to fully read. Now moving to Jesse and Donovan, their partnership contains several callback-style clues that link back to earlier seasons. In certain investigations, their communication style briefly mirrors earlier team structures from previous seasons. It is not exact repetition, but the rhythm of their teamwork feels familiar. The hidden clue here is that the writers are intentionally preserving old team energy inside new formats. This gives longtime viewers a subconscious feeling of continuity, even when specific characters or roles change. One of the most interesting hidden references appears in episodes that connect to past threats, especially in Criminal Rex. In this episode, the return of older story elements is not just about nostalgia. It is about showing that past cases are never truly closed. Subtle dialogue references and case similarities suggest that earlier decisions still have consequences in the present timeline. The hidden clue here is that the show treats its history as active, not completed. Everything that happened before still influences what happens now. Another deeply hidden layer is the way Rupert Mankovich's return is framed. Instead of being introduced with heavy explanation, his presence is built through tension and recognition moments. Characters do not always explain who he is or why he matters. Instead, their reactions do the storytelling. This is a very important clue because it shows that the show trusts its longtime audience. It assumes viewers will remember past connections. The hidden meaning here is that the story is designed for layered viewing. Casual viewers see a villain return, but longtime viewers see a continuation of unfinished history. One of the most subtle callback techniques used in Season 8 is emotional repetition. Certain emotional beats from earlier seasons are recreated in slightly different ways. For example, a moment of doubt before solving a case or a silent glance before a decision may feel familiar even if the context is new. This is not accidental. It is a storytelling method that builds emotional memory. The hidden clue here is that the writers are using repetition to connect viewers emotionally to past seasons without directly referencing them. Another key detail is how Rex is consistently positioned during character-heavy scenes. He is often placed in ways that visually separate truth from confusion. In some scenes, he stands closer to characters who are correct or closer to the truth, even before the truth is revealed. This creates a hidden pattern where his position almost predicts emotional outcomes. The deeper meaning is that Rex is not just reacting to events, he is symbolically aligned with truth throughout the season. When you combine all these character-level clues, a clear pattern appears. Season 8 is not just about building cases, It is building emotional continuity. Every character carries hidden weight from the past, and every interaction quietly reflects something larger than the current episode. The real hidden secret of this season is that the story is not only about crime solving. It is about memory, emotional connection, and the invisible influence of past relationships on present decisions.